Welcome to Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY, sponsored by Hazelton Honda.
Welcome inside Abington Heights High School. We're in Clark Summit, Lackawanna County. Tonight, it's the Lackawanna League Division I Championship as the Scranton Knights battle the Comets. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, and welcome to Allied Services High School Hoops here on MyTV WQMY, sponsored by Hazelton Honda. And Mr. Douglas Walsh, here's what we know about tonight's game. Both teams are coming in 11-2. Both teams will head to the district playoffs in their respective classifications. Scranton, if they win, it's their first title since 2012. If Abington Heights wins, it's their fourth in a row.
Well, Abington's been the king of the hill, so if you want to be the king of the hill, you got to knock off the king of the hill. And the last 9 of the 14, Abington's won. Prep won a few in there. Scranton, as you said, hasn't been here in 9 or 10 years. They'd like nothing more to get back in the game tonight.
The Knights are the hottest team probably in the Lackawanna League. They've won 9 straight, including a victory here February 11th against the Comets. They're led by one of the best players in the Lackawanna League. He's our Toyota Spotlight player, and that's Jason Shields.
Jason Shields, he's long, he's athletic. He grew up facing the basket, so he's got a good handle for a 6'4" guy. He presents a tough matchup for defenses because he can take a bigger defender off the dribble. He can easily shoot over a small defender. Remember, he scored 19 of 27 the first time we had these guys on QMY, and he stayed pretty consistent the rest of the way, averaging 19 on his way to the scoring title.
Abington Heights, meanwhile, are 4-2 in their last 6 games. They have been plagued by the injury bug just a little bit, but they still have their inside post player, and that's our other Toyota Spotlight player, Harry Johnson.
Harry Johnson. He got a lot of experience in that 2018 state championship team. He's then started for the last 2 years. He's gradually matured into a scorer and a team leader. He surely will surpass 200 points for the year tonight. He leads the team in block shots, so you know he defends. He's an excellent passer in the post. He can dominate the game at both ends.
He absolutely could. So, some keys to the game. We talked about coaches. Doug, what do you have?
Well, if you're Scranton, you need to be disciplined and execute properly on the offensive end. Make sure they get good looks. They need to be physical inside when guarding Abington's post players. Abington has struggled a bit with turnovers. They can't let Scranton's pressure turn them over, and they got to get some easy runouts. Scranton has more shooters than Abington, so Abington's going to have to extend that zone on the perimeter a little bit more today.
It should be an exciting game. We will have fans here. We'll have cheerleaders, so there'll be some excitement in the gym. When we return, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip. It's Scranton and Abington Heights for the Lackawanna League Division I Championship.
You're watching Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY, sponsored by Hazelton Honda.
Here are your Hazelton Honda lineup for the Scranton Knights, 11-2 overall. It'll be Chandler and Rose, along with Shields, Crofton getting the start tonight, and Lizdowski at the other forward position. Scranton trying to get their first championship since 2012. Abington Heights looking for their 4th straight. Ryan Nealon gets the start as Mike Shaw has been out for a few weeks. Matt Shaw at the other guard. Kyle Nealon, Jacob Anderson, and Harry Johnson will be your starting lineups tonight for Abington Heights. Also 11-2 coming in. Your referees tonight, Jack Gaffney, Tony Blazier, and Jason McDermott. So a decent crowd here, let's say between 75 and 100 people to watch this game. That includes the crew and, of course, both teams here. Doug Walsh, what do we want to look for early on? Abington Heights has struggled. They struggled against Honesdale. They lost here to Scranton a few weeks ago.
Well, the tempo is going to be key here. Scranton wants to get this game a little faster pace. They want to get out and run a little bit. Abington would prefer a slower game, maybe a lower scoring game. However, Abington didn't shoot it too well, so you may see Scranton come out in a zone, and that'll lead to a slower pace. So that probably helps. It's kind of a double-edged sword for Scranton. They want to push the pace, but a zone will slow the game down a little bit. So it's going to be a little interesting to see who can get out and run.
There is their last meeting, February 11th, a 10-point victory. Of course, Doug and I had the first game on MyTV, January 22nd. Abington won that 45-27. It was the first game for both teams, so maybe some jitters and just trying to get your legs underneath. So Johnson and Jason Shields will do the jumping. Now Shields was injured in Delaware Valley. He's wearing an ankle brace on. We'll have to see. Coach said he's about 80%, but anything with Jason Shields at 80% is probably better than zone.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's another reason they're going zone too. They got to limit his movement on the defensive end. So that's another reason why they're playing, open up zone.
This is Shields from the corner, and he can't get that one to roll. Crofton almost pulled it down, and Matt Shaw will bring it down for the Comets. Comets coming in, averaging 43 points per game. Need to shoot well tonight. They have 56 three-pointers. That's a good sign. They work it into Jacob Anderson.
It's good to see him. He's okay. Seems like he's all right. He was banged up a little bit, missed a couple of practices, but that move looked pretty strong.
If they can work it on inside, that's going to help Abington Heights a lot. So this is Johnny Rose out front over to Chandler. Nice look inside to Lizdowski, and we're tied at 2.
Now they ran their man offense, even though they may have been matching up a little bit, but they ran their man offense and they got a nice cut.
Scranton giving up just 47 points per game. Held Abington to 37 last time out, including Harry Johnson, who had just 1 point.
See, they can live with that. They're gonna dare Abington to shoot the ball until they make a few, and then they'll come out of that zone. But until they make some, they're gonna hang in that zone.
Johnny Rose, a 5'9" senior, hands it off. Out to Chandler, nice move. Thought about it instead. Back out to Shields. Rose. Count it, downtown, Johnny Rose.
Johnny Rose picking where he left off the other night at DV. Knocking down three-pointers.
Abington trailed Honesdale by almost 20 points. Finally came back with a big fourth quarter. They don't want to trail here. Anderson from the feed from Johnson.
Now, good job by Anderson. He had to go up with it. If he passed it out, it would have been a 3-second violation. Even though there was 3 guys on him, he had to shoot it, and he finished.
Abington Heights giving up 35 points per game. Again, a Kenny Bianchi team that likes to play tough defense. Yeah,
they change up defenses. They played man the first trip, but now they're in the matchup zone. That's their calling card.
Patient offense. Nice look inside, and Crofton gets 2.
Boy, nice job by Lizdowski. He knew he had him on the baseline before he received it, and a beautiful bounce pass. You don't see that too often nowadays, the bounce pass, but that's a great pass.
Taken away, right into Nealon's hands, though.
That's what
Johnson working around.
Scranton wants to do that, Bob. They want to scratch and claw and grab and try to force turnovers.
State Comets ball underneath. Abington last year 27-3. I should say 17-8 last year. Year before 27-3.
Last year was the first time they didn't make the state playoffs in a while. Pittston area knocked them out in the play-in game.
Johnson, no foul, but he gets the nice home roll. The Comets trail by 1 now. And all of the points for Abington in the paint.
Well, that's what you're going to see. Against the zone, it's a tough matchup for the big guys inside for Scranton, so they're going to pound it inside if you're Abington.
Goes over to the Comets now.
Seems like Shields' ankle is okay. Pretty good lift on the first 2 jumpers. Of course, it's early in the game. That kind of wears on you. You got to be careful later on.
The other loss for Abington Heights was to Scranton Prep. And here comes Chandler back. Scranton does like to run. Quick to Lizdowski, and he's got it from downtown for 3.
Now, you see that's the pace. They're going to pick up their spots to run, Scranton. You can run off your rebounding, and you can run off your steals and your defense. You saw that time they ran off their defense and got a quick one.
5 points for Lizdowski, who averages 10 coming in. That's his 9th 3 on this short season. Under 4 to play here in the first quarter of the Lackawanna League Division I Championship.
He had a nice game here last time in Scranton's win here, scoring 13. He played pretty well. Some guys like certain gymnasiums too, Bob. You know, some guys just play well at certain places.
Shaw, step back 3. He's got it from downtown. Matt Shaw with 17-3 on the year. The Comets within one.
Well, you're going to have to shoot it. Even though they're begging you to shoot it, they want you to shoot it. You're going to have to shoot it if you're Abington.
Foul on the three-pointer by Johnson. It should be our timeout. 3:16 left. When we come back, Jason Shields will have 3 free throws.
Tonight's Twin Hills weight loss marquee matchup features 2 shooting guards. John Rose got Scranton going last Friday when the pressure was on, making 5 3-pointers at Delaware Valley. And Scranton can't sleep on sophomore Matthew Shaw as he leads Abington in made threes this year with 16. They each have one already in tonight's Twin Hills weight loss marquee matchup.
So Harry Johnson, as we went to break, fouled Shields. He was outside the line, so it'll be 3 free throws for Jason Shields, a 75% shooter coming in, 36 of 48 before that one.
Well, for a guy that shoots a lot of jumpers, and he does, he also drives it, and he gets to the foul line quite a bit.
Shields at 27 points this year twice, one against Honesdale and once against Wallenpaupack.
He's been pretty solid in almost every game. He only had a couple that were in the single digits, but he's been pretty steady all year long. Now see the made threes to get him in their pressure. This is what they want. They want to pressure Abington's guards. They feel they have an advantage in the guard slot.
Good job by Anderson to get that one. He'll go to the line.
Now, that's a good foul by Crofton. You don't want to give up the easy one. Make him make the 2 foul shots. I like what Abington did there, Bob, though, that they don't want to play fast, but that pressure, if somebody's going to double team you and take a chance, you have to make them pay on the other end. So you got to attack after you break that press. Good job by Abington. Now you see this, you see Nealon, the good delivery, and then that's a good foul by Crofton. Force him to knock down the foul shots.
Anderson, 72% on the year. At 15 points in the last meeting with Scranton, misses the second. Chandler pulls it down. We're still a 1-point game. Rose from the corner, no good. Anderson pulls down the rebound. He was also injured, Anderson. He was in the training room the last 3 days. So,
yeah, a lot of guys in the training room in this ball game. But they're tough. They're playing through it. You're not going to sit this one out.
Abington looking to tie or take their first lead of this championship game. They'll be patient.
Well, thus far into this possession, the pace has been in Scranton's favor, I'd say. But now you see Abington's deliberate on the offensive end always.
Johnson had an open look, couldn't pull it down. So now Scranton will be in their half-court offense with Johnny Rose, the 5'9" senior, running it. Crofton almost went half court. And Jason McDermott calls it after the fact.
Well, normally that's the trail official's call, Tony Blazier, but if he doesn't see it, you got to come in and step on it. So Jason McDermott comes in and makes the call.
Shaw no good. Ryan Nealon fought for it, and it will go off the player in the white jersey, number 12. It'll be Knights ball, under 2 to play in the first quarter. Good game so far, as you expected, Doug.
Yeah, this is what we expected. It's going to be nip and tuck the entire way. You see Ryan Nealon, pretty good size for a freshman. Got up pretty high in that rebound.
Nice cut by Chandler. Better dish from Shields.
Yeah, they play together. They share the ball pretty well, Scranton. They don't care who gets the bucket or the accolades. They share it pretty well.
Scranton's second loss was a very good North Pocono team, which we saw last Friday. So since then, though, 9 straight for the Knights, including a win here.
Yeah.
Not the shot for Nealon. Couldn't get that one to go.
Well, as I said, if they're going to give it to you, you have to take it. But if you don't make it, then they're going to still sit in that zone.
Well, Nealon had no points in the second meeting as Shields puts another one up in that last meeting. And a quick timeout. Kenny Bianchi almost kind of forced into it here in the first quarter, under a minute to play.
Yeah, a little reluctant. You can see the reluctance. He didn't want to call it, but he got up and asked Jason McDermott for it because this guy's getting hot. Yeah, you can't let him get off.
6-1 run by the Knights. Shooting will be the key. We've been talking a lot about it for the Comets tonight. They're going to have to hit the 10-footer, hit the three-pointers.
Yeah, you know, they have to shoot a good percentage because you know Scranton's going to try to get more possessions, more and more possessions, and get this game in the up-tempo. So you got to try to find some easy baskets now and again. And certainly if you're wide open on a jumper, it's an easier shot. But you got to have to start knocking them down if you're Abington. This allows Scranton to get into a three-quarter court. They'll probably delay a little bit, maybe trap once around the timeline.
Both teams will not use their bench a lot, 7 at most in this stretch, typical.
Yeah. Yeah, it took them a while, both teams, to get a cohesiveness together. Now they got it, now they got to keep it.
Both teams, of course, headed to the district playoffs. Ryan Nealon found a little lane amongst the trees, lost the ball. Good defense by Crofton, getting dirty on the floor.
Well, as we said in the open, Abington turns it over a little bit more than they normally do this year. So far, it's led to 2 baskets for Scranton. Let's see what happens here.
Johnny Rose. Our marquee matchup, Rose and Shao. They're going to play for one shot. Chandler back to Rose. Looking for Shields off the screen for 3. Bunch of the rim. And almost at us, tipped and out of bounds. So a good one here at Abington Heights High School. The Knights over the Comets after the first quarter.
You're watching Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY. Sponsored by Hazelton Honda.
The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins are taking the ice. Experience the excitement this Wednesday as the Pens take on rival Syracuse Crunch. Puck drop is at 5 o'clock, live on MyTV.
We are back at Abington Heights High School. The Knights in the Lackawanna League Championship game for Division I, leading the Comets by 6. Backdoor to Shields, no good. Bob Ide and Doug Walsh, we are courtside. And we almost lost it last time.
I almost lost
Marty
it, Bobby.
Crofton came at us.
He did a nice job to avoid you, but everything would have been head over heels.
I wasn't going for the catch. I was running out of the way, I will admit it.
Oh, out of the timeout, out of the quarter, they ran a little lob to Shields. They just couldn't get it. It was there, but they just couldn't convert.
What do the Comets need to do? I guess make shots? I mean,
well,
it seems simple, right?
Yeah, it does seem simple, and it's easier said than done, you know. And then when you start missing a few, then you start to clutch it a little harder, then you start a little bit more pressure on you. But after Shao made that first one, I thought they would have been okay, but you can't be gun shy. You're going to have to keep shooting it.
Nice backdoor to Anderson. Nice look inside.
Well, also, too, you want to go back to what was successful early, going inside to Anderson and Johnson, that's for sure.
Anderson has 7 of the 12 tonight so far for Abington. Back to a 4-point game.
Bob, all of these guys on Scranton are very good passers.
So the defense holding up there for the Comets.
Yeah, again, another turnover, though. That's about the 4th or 5th turnover for Abington. We said early on, you got to avoid turnovers.
Patrick McCormick, number 34, in for the team in black tonight. Shields, little jumper, no good.
Well, he's got to keep shooting, even though he's not hot yet, but early offense is what they want. It leads to a faster pace. That's what Scranton wants. Even on a miss, it's a faster pace.
Shao has 1, make it 2 from downtown for Matt Shao.
Now, he seems to like that top of the key. So if he hangs around there now, see, he made 2 out of 3 now so far. So that gets him a little bit more confidence for the next one.
Chandler will try to match it. Oh, that's in and out. That was almost down. So now a chance for the Comets after trailing 16-10. Little 5-0 run from Abington. Oh, Johnny Rose takes it away. Chandler up front. And he lays it in.
Good job by the guards. Good anticipation by John Rose. Got in the passing lane with that steal.
Another turnover for the Comets. Cost them.
That's too many, but they've kind of survived those 6 turnovers. They're only down 3, but you can't make a steady diet of that.
McCormick left alone. He was feeling it in pregame, and he's feeling it in the game.
Now, he's got 6 threes on the year. That's his 7th. You can't sleep on him on the perimeter, that's for sure.
Game of runs here in the second quarter. Shaw again. He's got it.
Yeah.
That will help the cause for Abington.
Well, if you're Scranton, you know, now you start thinking, do we want to get out of the zone or do we want to stay in the zone? You want to keep making him shoot it? They've still got a 3-point lead, so I imagine they're going to stay in it.
Good hands inside. Shaw's going to push it and lost it. Scranton doesn't have the numbers. Shields forcing in, no one picked him up, and he lays it in.
You got to credit Pat McCormick for hustling back and flicking that ball from behind and forcing the turnover down the other end. Abington had a 2-on-1, and McCormick's hustle got the ball back for Scranton.
I would say, considering the last score, 47-37, it's pretty high scoring first half.
This helps. This is a Scranton score, though. This is a Scranton kind of tempo and a score. They want to get this game up over 50.
Harry Johnson inside. He's got more points now than he did last time. Last time these two teams met, he has 4.
And coincidentally, that's why Scranton won the game. He had a tough night. They held him to 1 point. You know, you hold him to 1 point, you're probably going to win a lot of games.
You talked about the passing. Nice dish from Rose to Shields. Can be Yankees like, come on, guys.
Yeah, the baskets are coming kind of easy for Scranton on the offensive end. Uncharacteristic of Abington's defense, giving up easy ones.
Anderson, high floater, no good. Johnson pulls it down. Tough inside battle for Harry Johnson.
Now, Coach Pataglia said he had to match their physicality and the rebound again. You want Anderson to shoot that jumper, but if you're Scranton, you got to come up with that rebound. But Johnson's pretty crafty on the offensive rebounding end.
Chandler outside from downtown.
Now for Scranton, though, you see now everybody's involved. You got a lot of scoring already from everybody. That's just what they needed.
Out to Ryan Nealon. No sub so far for Abington. Cross court to his brother Kyle. Back of the rim. He gets the rebound. Matt Shaw from way downtown. That was short. And it goes out of bounds, and it should be our timeout. 2:42 in the half. We have a 6-point ball game here in Clark Summit. Well, the Comets trail by 6 at home, trying to win their 4th straight Lackawanna League Division I championship. Scranton was very excited about this game. They know what's on the banner up at the high school. They haven't won since the 11-12 season. And when we talked to Johnny Rose yesterday, he mentioned that. You know, it's been almost 10 years. They are aware of that.
Yeah, they've been on the outside looking in at Scranton Prep and Abington Heights for the last 9 or 10 years. So they want to get their banner hung in their gymnasium as well.
So Abington has 2 fouls, Doug, both by Harry Johnson. We have to watch that. He's their leading scorer coming in.
Now you see they get Bryce Flory in the game and Jameis Beswar, but Flory's in for some size. You see he pulls down that rebound already.
Crofton going to be called, I think, for a foul. Wasn't happy about it. It's only the 2nd team foul, though, on Scranton. And it happens to be his 2nd.
Now, if you're Abington now, 2:24 to go in the first, you're down 6. You want to keep it here or cut into it. You don't want to get this up to 9 or 10. And on the flip side, if you're Scranton, you'd like to get this up close to double figures at halftime if you could.
McCormack back into the game. And there's Beswar, who's only played in 4 games. We saw him in the first game, and since then has played sparingly, but he's going to be forced in tonight with some injuries.
Yeah, it seemed like they were high on him early on, but then they sat him on the bench a little bit more than he thought the rest of the year.
Well, here's the 6'1 junior. He hands it off to Ryan Nealon.
Yeah, but there's a pecking order here always at Abington, and he's only a junior, so I'm sure his future's going to be bright here.
Go look inside to Flory, to Johnson. Johnson's got it.
You see they got energy. That's what Flory's in there too. He provides energy. Even though he fumbled it and he got the ball knocked away from him, he had the presence of mind to find Johnson on the foul line for the jumper.
Johnson with 6. Abington now down just 4. They trailed by as many as 6 in this game. That's about it. Lozdowski and Johnson. Flory comes over, but he's going to get called for the foul.
Nice move by Lozdowski. Nice little spin move. He spun into a double team, but got bailed out with the foul.
Lozdowski, a very good foul shooter, 89% on the year. 25 of 28, 26 now of 29. See, I have math skills.
Yeah, that's pretty to see the spin, and he spun himself right into a double, but fortunately he got bailed out by the foul.
Against Scranton in their win here, Kevin Lozdowski had 13 points. He was the leading scorer for Scranton that night. So look for a second one for the football player. He lays it up and in.
Yeah, he's an athlete. You can see it.
Johnson lost it out of bounds off the pressure from Scranton. So another turnover for the Comets.
Yeah, kind of an unforced error. Harry Johnson took his eye off it and it just fell off his leg. Now see if Scranton can capitalize.
Of course, masks are mandatory in the Lackawanna League. We'll have to see how that plays out in the District 2 tournament. But for the most part, the district has basically said you need a written excuse to not wear a mask.
Oh, yeah. Well, down there, they choose whether they want to or not in the Wyoming Valley Conference.
Cormack had 1-3, couldn't come down with that one. Jamison Beswar does, and now Abington, we're under a minute here. Down 6, like to cut into that lead a little bit.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they go for 1 or not. 40 to go, 35 to go. See, they are working the ball around, but
well, who's the scorers out there? That's my question.
Yeah, well, it's got to go into Johnson at some point, and I think maybe, Bob, as you said, they may be pretending they're active on the offense. Oh no, there's a shot.
Oh, Schau, that's a good one. He's hot tonight. That's his 4th 3.
He fooled me. I thought they were going for 1.
That is huge tonight for Matt Schau. He had 16 coming in. He has 20 on the season. Good pressure from Schau. And a quick timeout called by Tony Battaglia.
He wants to set something up, try to get a good look. I'm sure it's going to be in Shields' hand at some point, but they'll probably go double him, so he may have to kick it back. There's time for a dribble or two and a pass and then a shot, so we'll see what Coach Battaglia draws up in that timeout.
Schau matching his high for the season. He had 12 against DV. He has 12 tonight, all from 3-point land.
Well, you know, in games like this, Bob, the opponent is going to key on your strength. They're going to key on Johnson. They're going to key on Anderson. So it's usually the supporting cast that proves to be the difference in these games. And certainly Matthew Schau is making his presence known.
Well, you think the man with the red shoes, Shields, you're going to look for him first.
Yeah, I would think it's going to be in his hands at some point in these last 5 seconds. But they sometimes use him as a decoy, and they might spot somebody up for a 3, too. Look for Rosie to get a 3 off, maybe.
Good defense of Flory. Jump ball, and I believe it goes over to Abington. So they have just under 3 seconds. 2.9 on the clock. So good defense from Abington.
Yeah.
They're lucky it's 3-point and not more, a bigger lead tonight.
You're absolutely not. With 7 turnovers, you're absolutely right.
Beswar almost banked it in. Instead, it falls just off the rim. We're at halftime. Coming up, the Toyota Halftime Report. We'll hear from our friends from Allied Services. Doug and I will look at the District 2 playoffs upcoming, and we'll have stats and highlights. 3-point lead for the Knights in the Lackawanna League Division I championship game.
You're watching Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY. Sponsored by Hazelton Honda.
I'm now joined by Mike Helene. He is the Program Director for Developmental Services here at Allied Services. Mike, can you tell me a little bit about your job?
Well, as you said, I'm the Program Director for Residential Services here at Allied Services for people with intellectual disabilities. Our program has been in operation since 1980. We provide services for 109 individuals within the community, 2 campus programs that have 84 residents in them, and we have 2 programs in the Lackawanna County community of the Greenridge area and 2 programs in Carbondale.
Wow, and you've worked here for 42 years, so what would you say has been the best part?
The best part is I think that I've been with Allied Services my entire adult life. I started as a direct care worker in 1978, and I've just stayed for the duration through clinical positions and management positions. You know, it's just something that I just feel compelled to do every day. I just come to work every day.
So I'm sure you've seen coronavirus affect a lot of jobs here, but how have you seen it affect the developmental services? For our residents, I think the greatest thing has been the inability to see their families. It is unbelievable the emotions that are displayed between moms and dads and our residents who have not seen them since March. Well, Mike, I'm sure a lot of these families are very appreciative of the work that you do every single day. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your time.
We're back at Abington Heights High School. Scranton with a 3-point lead over the Comets in the Lackawanna League Division I championship. Bob Ide and Mr. Douglas Walsh, we are courtside. Almost got run over one time tonight, so that's not too bad.
I almost lost you, Bob.
But we have a nice crowd here. We have some cheer. We have the cheerleaders. So a nice atmosphere. That's what we want to see headed into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's good to have fans back in. People get to see their loved ones and their family play. So I mean, it's good to see people back in the stands.
And it's good to see the district playoffs are going to happen starting the end of this week. We'll have District 2 playoffs headed all the way down to the arena.
Yeah, no matter what happens in these playoff games, the brackets are set. So yeah, the playoffs start this week.
Now let's take a look at 6A, the standings going in to tonight. So Scranton will be the top seed, and they will wait the winner of Delaware Valley and Hazelton. They'll play Friday night at 7. The other one game, Wilkes-Barre and Williamsport at 7. That should be a dandy. Wilkes-Barre playing well. Williamsport's always good.
Any of those 5 teams can win that 6A. There's a lot of balance in all the brackets, but Delaware Valley, Coach Holzer's team is playing well at the end of the year. They knocked off North Pocono at the end. Hazelton's been playing better of late. Wilkes-Barre can beat anybody, and you see Scranton. They're pretty sharp. They're pretty solid.
And Wilkes-Barre played Scranton in the championship last year. The Wolfpack won it in their first year as a combined school, and they're always a tough out. 5A, Abington Heights is right in there. They're going to be the 2nd seed, take on Wyoming Valley West Friday night right here at 7 o'clock. It'll be Weston Crestwood, Pittston at North Pocono, and then Sunday, Tunkhannock takes on Valley View. Both those teams in COVID protocol.
You better come and play in that 5A. Anybody can beat anybody in that division. That is brutal, that 5A. Look at that. Any of those teams can beat anybody any given night.
In 3A, Scranton Prep will be the top seed. They will take on Hanover. These games on Saturday. And Anacostia takes on Lake Lehman. Honesdale at Dallas. And Wyoming area takes on Mid-Valley.
Now you see Dunmore
3A,
playing.
sorry, I thought we were 3A.
Yeah, Dunmore playing a little bit better of late, but you see Riverside, Sim, and Holy Redeemer. All of those teams are really, really solid. So you wouldn't be surprised to see those 2 come down.
Oh, that was my fault. There's 3A. Well, I'll go through 3A quick. Montrose, Redeemer, Carbondale at Wyoming Seminary Thursday. Sunday, Lakeland takes on Dunmore at 1 o'clock. Both those teams in COVID protocol. Now we'll go to 4A. I apologize. I jumped the gun. Scranton Prep will be the top seed. And Dallas is, again, a big win the other night against Sem. The 2C will be Mid-Valley.
Well, we talked about that the other night. Dallas was struggling a little bit, but it seems like they got the ship righted. They beat Sem the other night. Coach Abdus got Mid-Valley playing well. Lehman, you had those guys at the beginning of the year. Any of those top four can probably win that one.
Okay, now we'll go to 2A. Elk Lake comes in as the top seed over Holy Cross. They'll take on Trail Friday. Northwest will be at Susquehanna. Old Forge at Blue Ridge. And Saturday, Mountain View will be at Holy Cross, as Holy Cross is in a bit of a COVID protocol as well.
I like that Elk Lake team. They ran the table in that. Richie Emons has them playing very, very well. Did a nice job with that team, and they're young, so they're kind of hungry, that Elk Lake team.
Both teams are on the floor. Second half on the way for the Lackawanna League Division I Championship after this.
You're watching Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY. Sponsored by Hazelton Honda.
There, the Scranton Knights stand a 6-point lead at 1 point in this game. That's the highest by either team. Abington staying right in there in this high-scoring game. Doug, second half keys.
Now, we talked about the turnovers. Abington turned it over 6 times in that first half, but they survived. Scranton only capitalized on 2 of those 6, so if you're Abington, you got to clean that up a little bit.
Crofton, Shields, Ladowski, Rose, and Chandler, the starting 5, once again in. Nice backdoor look and almost a up and under for Jason Shields, but the Comets pull it down. Just 3 players in the scoring column for Abington. Johnson, Shaw, and Anderson, all with all the points. And Anderson is not starting in the second half. It's the same 5 who ended the first half.
You want to try to get some of these guys, Flory and Bessoir, into a tough situation. You get them a little experience. You notice Abington now came out and went man-to-man the first possession. They've struggled with their zone. They played it a little bit not up to par as Coach Kenny Bianchi would like in the first half, so they went man-to-man the first time. Let's see what happens.
Flory lost that one. Bessoir had a look, didn't want to pull the trigger. He has it again. Trying to get inside to Flory, but this time Jamison, Bessoir with the shot, good rebound by the Comets. Second chance.
Well, you see why they like Flory now. That's his second offensive rebound. He's active down low, posts up, brings some energy to Abington. That's what they needed.
Johnson cut off. Comets continue to work it around, not getting any really good looks.
Yeah, good defense by Scranton. Yeah, there it is, poked it away. Kevin Lasdowski got his hand in there. Now, if you're Scranton, you're forcing these turnovers. You got to make Abington pay. You got to capitalize on them.
Good cut by Chandler. Back out to Lasdowski into the corner. Rose knocked away by Flory with a big block. Saved by Shaw. Here come the Comets. Let's see if this gets them going.
Now he came from the other side of the floor, Flory. Boy, you see why they like him. He got up quick, too. They got Johnson bottled up pretty good in the post. Lasdowski doing a good job on him. They're trying to be patient and try to sooner or later get it into Johnson, but Scranton doing a good job bottling him up.
Lasdowski all over Johnson. Back to Bessoir. Bessoir got his own, almost got his own rebound. Instead, it is Kyle Nealon who pulls it in. Johnson the cut. Triple teamed. Open look. Oh, that was down for Kyle Nealon.
Now you see the exasperated look by Kyle Nealon after that one rolled around and came back out.
Yeah, Coach Tony Battaglia calls a timeout, so both offenses 2.5 into this one, trying to get anything going. We're scoreless here in the third.
Well, you see the game plan for Scranton there. You see that Bryce Flory coming from the other side of the floor to slap that one away. But Scranton is keying on Johnson. Once he gets it, you see 2 or 3 guys go run at him now, and that timeout is designed because they're going a little too far, and they get the kick out gave Abington 2 good open looks. Even though they didn't make them, Tony Battaglia is a little concerned about going too far and leaving them that wide open.
Scranton with balanced scoring in that first half. Chandler has 7, Rose 3, Crofton 2, Lesdowski 7, Shields 8, and McCormick 3.
Now, they share the ball well, good balance, that's what you need. He's been doing that all year long.
So after the timeout, let's see what they do. Chandler with the ball, being hounded by Ryan Nealon, who's back in. Little fade away, didn't get the rim for Shields. So Anderson and Ryan Nealon back into the game, so the starting 5 now in for Abington.
Well, you see Battaglia, Coach Battaglia got them out of the man. They're chasing Anderson, but well, I guess maybe they're still man-to-man. It looked like they were zoned there, but McCormick wasn't moving too well, but neither was Nealon, so it made it look like a zone, but they're still man-to-man.
Well, for Abington, you're happy to see that, because when they went to that zone, they don't do very well, right. Abington on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Chandler locks it away. Almost got away with a walk, didn't have anyone to throw it. 2, Scranton sets it up. Neither team has any points here in the third. Remains 30-27.
Scranton doing a real good job on the defensive end, overplaying the post and overplaying the passes.
Good hands by Johnson. Oh, they lost it. Ryan Nealon couldn't find the ball. Lesdowski. Crofton got caught with the travel, and that should be a timeout. 3:58 here in the third. Both teams having a hard time putting baskets in the third quarter. We're back at Abington Heights High School. Lackawanna League Division I Championship. 4 minutes and 2 seconds in, Doug, and no one has a basket here in the third quarter.
A lot of turnovers, pretty good defense by both clubs.
Typically, you see one team go dry, not both at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think that helps Abington because they like to keep the score down a little bit, and now it's staying down.
Back out to Johnson. That one was down 2.
It must be this basket. There's been 3 or 4 that went halfway down this basket and getting popped back out. Both teams.
So Johnny Rose, who had 19 against DV. Nice find inside to Chandler.
Oh, that was some pass. Johnny Rose, he faked like he was going to pass it the first time and anticipated Chandler going all the way to the basket. What a beautiful pass that was.
See if Abington can find some of that offense that they had in the first half.
I'll tell you what, Bob, I'm impressed with Scranton, the way they share the ball and where they pass the ball. They anticipate their teammates' moves, and they're a really solid passing team.
Good rebound off the Anderson miss from Johnson. He's going to force it triple teamed, and there's a foul. Finally got the call he wanted. He really hustled for that.
Now, you see the game plan. He gets it. There's all black shirts all around him. And he's kind of determined now. Maybe, you see, don't be surprised if he tries to take this game over on the offensive end. He's been pretty quiet. And they haven't, they're bottling him up pretty good. Scranton's got doing a real good job on the defensive end on Harry Johnson. But don't be surprised if he gets a little bit more aggressive now for the last 8 or 10 minutes of this ball game.
69% shooter coming in. Foul was on Chandler. Beswar back into the game, replacing the freshman Ryan Nealon. And Johnson gets the roll. He's high this year for Harry Johnson, 23 against Honesdale.
Now, he ended up being number 3 in the division in scoring, so you know that he's going to get it going at some point.
Good crossover by Lesdowski. Hoop and the harm, and the bench likes it for the Knights.
Oh, they're so quick on the dribble going into the basket. See, Lizdowski, he was not going to be denied.
So 9 now for Kevin Lizdowski. 6'3" senior completes the three-point play. Now it's the largest lead of the night for the Knights. Turnover by Abington. Can Scranton take advantage? Backdoor to Shields, no good.
Yeah, that would have really fired up the bench had he made that one. A little alley-oop from Rose.
So we have cheerleaders here. We have parents from Abington, and then each Scranton player got one ticket. So a parent or whoever is at the game. And it's Anderson, blocked from behind. Was that Chandler who got it?
That was Chandler, came down from the foul line to block that one from behind.
McCormick from downtown.
That'll be interesting to see if Abington wants to talk it over or not with only a minute and a half to go. Well, they're going to play it out.
McCormick's second three of the night gives the Knights a 10-point lead, the largest. Kenny Bianchi talking to Tony Blazier, thinking about it, and foul. Oh, couldn't get it to go for Kyle Nealon. Coach Bianchi, 25th season here, 46 overall, and here's the Knights from downtown.
Now you see Chandler blocked it, retrieved it, and then got the assist.
Foul against McCormick for Scranton. His first at the line is Kevin Nealon, who's scoreless and finally gets one to go in. So 2 to in on the free throw line for Nealon. Back to an 8-point game. So we were scoreless for the first 4:02, and then Scranton went on a little run.
Now, keyed by their good defense.
Comets are going to need defense to get back in this one. Good rebound by Shields. McCormick has the lane, and he lays it up and in. So off the bench, Pat McCormick playing well.
I got to credit Jason Shields for skying for that offensive rebound, getting another possession, allowing McCormick to get another one.
Trying to look for Harry Johnson. He's guarded by Lizdowski.
Yeah, Kevin Lizdowski doing a fabulous job on defense.
Anderson gets called for the offensive foul.
Scranton their defense is frustrating Abington, Bob, on the offensive end. You can see it. Yeah. And they're playing with a little bit, much more emotion than Abington is.
Both teams headed to the district playoffs. Abington on Friday, Scranton a week from today. Rose looking for the last shot. In the corner to Johnny Rose. Chandler, open three. At the buzzer, under 10, and he hits it.
Well, they trapped and doubled, and they left so many people open. Chandler said, well, we're not going to wait till the end. We're going to shoot it now.
And the ball gets stuck, and that's the way the third quarter ends. 13-3 quarter for Scranton, and it's a 13-point lead here for the championship. Back at Abington Heights, Bob I, Doug Walsh. A very interesting third quarter, Doug. 4:02, no points. Last 3:58, Scranton puts up 13.
Yeah, that was a little unusual. Yeah, 4 points, they went dry, and then all of a sudden it became a scoring fest. But you got to credit Scranton with their solid defense. Led to a lot of runouts and some easy ones down the other end. Here's the defense keying again. Chandler's doing a great job.
Chandler has 12 points, playing a great game tonight. At 16 against Valley View this year. And the Comets gonna get called for a hold.
Yeah. They're gonna get Jacob Anderson. He poked it away, and then on the retrieve, you see good defense. He pokes it away, and then they got him for a little hold there. You see the arms got locked up. He doesn't think so, but Tony Blazier thought so.
Only a second, team's third.
tell you what, Bob, it's a pretty well officiated game. They're letting them play. They're staying out of the way. They're staying pretty consistent. This is one of the best officiating jobs, consistent-wise, I've seen in quite some time.
Abington has to pick up on defense, but Lesdowski just blows by Anderson, and that could be part of Anderson's injury as well.
Yeah, he's having his way. So Lesdowski's doing it at both ends of the floor too. He's doing a great job on Johnson on this side.
And Abington has gone cold, just 3 points in that third quarter, and can't hit a shot while Scranton is making theirs. Shields falls to the ground.
Now, if you're Scranton too, now you don't want to take your foot off the gas pedal too early. So you want to stay aggressive on the offensive end. You want to keep going with what got you here.
Foul against Lesdowski, his first, team's third. Flory back into the game, replacing Anderson.
No, you wonder if that's injury related, that substitute, Bob.
Well, they want to save him, get him better for the Valley West game on Friday in district's opening round.
Yeah, not to say that Coach Bianchi has given up, but with 15 points in the fourth quarter and you got an injured guy, you might as well try somebody who's healthy anyway. So that could be why that substitution was made. And this guy brings some energy too, Bryce Flory. You saw what he did in the first half.
In the Flory, double teamed. Back to Ryan kneeling from the corner. He hits it. That's a big one.
Now from Flory too, an assist from Flory. So a well-needed bucket by Abington.
His first field goal of the night is from 3. Shields down the lane and gets his own rebound.
Now, a little too easy at that end for Shields to get that good of a look, and then he got his own rebound too.
Johnson up, he is 10. Looking at the stat sheet, Doug, Scranton went on that 13-point run kind of in the third without Shields even scoring.
Yeah, they're playing well together. This guy's doing a great job. Lesdowski, good defense there by Flory, poked that one away. Yeah, they're playing well together. They're playing good balance, Scranton is.
Beswar grabbed it out of the hands of Chandler. Schau missed it. Schau scoreless here in the third after having 12 in the first half.
Yeah, well, he made some key baskets in the first half. When they needed them, they had some dry spells, and he kept them in the game in the first half. They're clamping down on him in this half. Flory's giving Lesdowski some fits on that end.
Dribbles all the way around and gets it out to Chandler, no good. Schau pulls it down. And we have a hold away from the ball.
Yeah. Flory has got Lesdowski a little bit out of sorts. Kevin Lesdowski, he played great defense, Flory did on that trip, and really frustrated Kevin Lesdowski in his frustration. He gave Flory a bump on the way down the floor. Jack Gaffney caught it.
So if you're if you're Abington Heights, you want to be deliberate, but you can't take all day. You're still trailing by 12. Trying to look inside, Johnson. Being guarded by Lesdowski. Schau.
Yeah, they're going to keep working it until they get a 43, a touch inside.
Ryan Nealon trying for another one, no good.
Now you see Coach Tony Battaglia said, let's slow this one down a little bit. Let's execute our offense a little bit. If it takes us 25 or 30 seconds to get a good one, we'll take that.
2 guys on the floor for the Comets. No foul, no whistle. Pump fake by Shields. He's going to be fouled on his way to the basket on the baseline.
Well, they had a chance to take an advantage there with 2 Abington players on the floor, but Abington hustled back and got back and played good defense.
14 fouls on both teams. In for McCormick, little floater, no good.
Johnson may have got a piece of that.
Yeah, I think so. Ryan Nealon, the freshman, pushes it up to Beswar. Bessoir sets his feet but can't get it to go, and we're going to have a foul going the other way over the back on Flory, I believe. And we'll take a break. 3:55 left in the game. Scranton trying to pull in their first division title in almost 10 years. Well, we have some fans in the seats here at Abington Heights High School after the governor lifted some of the restrictions yesterday, loosened them up a little bit, and quickly Randy Canyon here scrambled, got some of his team parents here. Scranton has some fans, and of course the Comets cheerleaders. So always good to see the fans back in the building, Doug Walsh.
Yes, it is. It's nice to see, you know, these kids just playing, and in front of nobody. It's almost like you're at practice. It's nice to be playing in front of their fans.
So the last 3:44 of this game, Abington needs to get some defensive stops, down 12.
And they come out in a little half-court trap. They're trapping 1-3-1. They're trapping in all the corners.
Scranton doing a nice job not turning the ball over.
Well, I think they're still trying to score, but they're going to take a good one.
Flory with his second block of the night. Goes out of bounds. It will remain Knight's ball underneath their own basket. And timeout called. Here we see it again.
Flory doing a very good job in this ball game on both ends of the floor. He's got an assist on this end when he needed a basket. He set up Nealon for a three. He's doing a real good job frustrating Lesdowski the last 3 or 4 possessions.
So the back fitter timeout, Ken Bianchi. 46 years overall with his assistant coach there as well.
Yeah, he started back at Line Mountain. He's been at Scranton Tech. He's been at West Scranton. He's been at Abington Heights. Man,
just about everywhere. And you know the guy next to him, Jeff McLean, has been with him since he played at Scranton Tech. Right after that.
Yeah, he played with him. I think the late 70s. Yeah. I think he played there at Tech.
And Tony Battaglia on the other side, 22nd year at Scranton. That's always hard to do in the Scranton school district.
We talked to him at the beginning of this year. He really liked this team, and you can see why.
Yeah. So the Knights have the ball after the timeout. Good movement.
Well, Tony Battaglia is looking at the scoreboard, and he thinks at 47, he thinks he may have enough points to win this game already, so he's going to run as much clock as he can. And now it comes to the point where, when do you foul, and who are you going to foul?
Well, they won here February 11th. I'll remind you of the score, 47-37.
That's pretty much what the score is right now.
That's right. Lesdowski lays it up and in. Flory, I think, tried to push him to foul him and just couldn't get him. So Lesdowski having himself a nice night here.
Well, you got to credit Lesdowski. He's staying under control. He's staying cool. They've been banging him around the last 3 or 4 possessions. Flory has and Johnson has, but he's staying cool.
The senior, Lesdowski, has 13. Leads the way for the Knights. Coming up on the 2-minute mark.
You see Dominic Sylvanas getting some time here. He's got the ball now. Get some of these younger guys some time in a big ball game. Get them experience.
Schau from the corner, can't complete it. Flory throws it up and it goes down. And he'll go to the line to complete the 3-point play.
Marty Crofton looking around like, wow, I hammered him pretty good and he still made that shot. Boy, I like the energy on this guy. He's been rebounding, he's been blocking shots, he's been playing defense. You can see why the Abington faithful like this guy is. He's only a junior.
Back of the rim on his free throw. Over to Johnny Rose. Scranton now going to get some time off the clock.
Well, Abington still has one more foul to give. So when do you do it? Are you going to do it?
Good hands by Sylvanas. Over to Schau. 90 seconds. Schau from downtown. Got it. Timeout. Ken Bianchi says, hey, we're waking up a little bit.
Well, you like that. No better time to shoot a 3 in transition when you're in rhythm. And you see Matt Chow came down, and you could see in his eyes when he got about to half court, he was going to shoot that one. You walk into those, you like that. You see, right about now, he knows he's going to shoot it. And
that was like NBA range, too.
He walked right into it, a lot of rhythm. Rosie came out, like Johnny Rose knew he was going to, he was eyeing it up, so he tried to get there, but a little too late. But yeah, still doable, 129 with 9-point lead. Now you're going to have, if you call timeout, now you're going to have to foul and play the foul game.
So 5 threes tonight from Shao. He has a season high 15, and I believe that's a career high at the varsity level. He's just a sophomore. A 9-point game, 90 seconds left in this one. And I think Ken Bianchi said, oh, it was 15, now it's 9. I think we'll call timeout.
I think that 3 made him get back in the game. I think he was calling off the dogs. Now, this team is a pretty good foul shooting team, Scranton, so it's going to be interesting to see who they have on the floor. Yeah, and they got their, I would say if anybody, I'd probably foul McCormick when he gets it, but you see now he's taking the ball out of bounds, so he won't have it in his hands. Good move by Coach Battaglia, but should he get it back, they'll probably, although they still have 1 to give, but when they do go 1-on-1, they might foul McCormick.
Shields brings it down on Beswar. Not going to foul yet, I guess. Or they're waiting for the right guy. That's Johnson really hounding Lisdowski and goes out of bounds. I think it stays with the Knights. It does.
Abington wanted a 5-second call.
Lisdowski back to Rose. Rose not going to shoot. He's going to pull it back out. Double team in the corner, and I think we have a timeout by Coach Battaglia. I believe we do.
Yeah, I think Coach Battaglia, I thought they had a foul, but it looks like Coach Battaglia right in the ear of
full
Jack
timeout.
Gaffney called timeout.
Yeah. Back for their timeout means we'll stay right here. 1 minute left. Scranton again going to go next week. They're the top seed. They will take on the Delaware Valley Hazleton winner on March 9th. The other game, Wilkes-Barre and Williamsport on March 9th. That is the 6A sub-regional. And Abington Heights will host Valley West here. Valley West 5-9 coming in, the 7th seed. Crestwood the top seed, and again in that 5As you talked about at halftime, Doug, it kind of wide open.
Yeah, that's going to be, that's a brutal bracket now. My source, JW from Kaiser Valley, tells me Mason Mendengraw will be able to play for Wyoming Valley West. I don't know if that's true or not, but they were ruling on that today. Should he be able to play, Abington's got to be careful because he can control a game at times.
Scranton 1 minute and 1 second away from winning their first division title since 2012. Quick trap. Nice cut, and look, and a hoop and the harm, and Jason Shields puts it back.
He hung in the air. He took the hit from Flory. You got to credit Flory. He did a good job. He hacked him pretty good, but the hang time for Shields was unbelievable there, and he finishes. And that could be the dagger, Robert.
Back to an 11-point lead. He misses the free throw, though. Let's see what the Comets can do. Someone's got to put up some shots. They have to shoot quickly. Bad look inside, taken away by Shields. Trying to force it was Beswar.
Well,
that might do it.
I don't think they'll foul now.
So make it 10 straight for Scranton. Probably maybe the hottest team in District 2. They feel it now. Their parents that are here are starting to clap.
Yeah, you see why Tony Battaglia liked this club early on. They kind of, the first game we had, they played Abington. They kind of played poorly, and they kind of got a little nervous. They laid an egg, but since then they've been playing lights out.
They have, and they will be the favorite in 6A in the district. But first things first, goal number 1 in the books for the Scranton Knights. They are the Lackawanna League Division I champions. Doug?
Excellent ball game by Scranton. They deserved to win. They played well together. They shared the ball. This is a good team. They're all athletic, and I like this club. You can see why Tony Battaglia likes them as well.
And Abington Heights is going to have a tough time in that district, but in that district playoffs. But you know, they get healthy, they'll be good enough.
Yeah, hopefully they're healthy enough when they you know, they're going to have 4 or 5 days off now to get loose, but get back in the training room and get all healed up and see what they can do against Valley West.
When we come back, we'll have our Allied Services Players of the Game here on MyTV WQ.
You're watching Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY. Sponsored by Hazleton Honda.
So the Scranton Knights come up to Abington. They beat the Comets by 11, and they win the Lackawanna League Division I title for the first time in almost 10 years. Our Allied Services Players of the Game. We'll start with Kevin Lisdowski. And Kevin, I guess you guys are so excited. You guys are aware that you haven't won in a long time. How big a game was this for you guys, and what's the feeling like winning it?
Man, huge. You know, I can't even describe the feeling. You know, it's amazing. But you know, we got bigger things to accomplish. Next is district, so we're gonna try on and go on there.
What was the mindset coming into this game, and how did you follow through on that?
They're a tough team. You know, they play physical, so we just had to come in and play more physical. We knew they play their game through the paint, inside and out, so we had to stop them from inside. We know we had trouble with that in the first half, but we came through in the second half.
I think every one of your starters scored. What's that say about your team and the way you play with balanced basketball?
Yeah, you know, we have so many guys that can score the ball, and we're so dynamic, and it really helps us out.
How about this guy, Arvel Britt, come in? He played lights out tonight as well. Put up double figures. Arvel in front of the mic. We talked yesterday, and you were excited about this game. So how's it feel right now?
It feels great. We were sick of coming in second place. It's been a long time since we won a league championship, so we really needed this.
What was the difference? That third quarter, you guys were tight. No one scored for almost 4 minutes. You come out of a timeout after the media break, and you go on a big roll. What was the difference there?
Our coaches were pushing us to execute the plays, and we just had to outwork them.
Now you're going to head to districts. What's the confidence level of this team right now?
We believe we could win it all, but, you know, we just got to take it game by game. We have to win our first round game first. And then,
good game from you. I think 13 points or something like that. Nice night for you. What was going right for you tonight?
My teammates were finding me in my spots. They were giving me wide open shots, and I just had to knock them down.
Well, congratulations. You're division champs for the first time in 10 years. Congratulations go with your
Thank you
team.
so
So
much.
that will do it. Here from Abington Heights High School, congratulations to Scranton, and good luck to Abington Heights, as both of these teams now will head to the district playoffs coming up starting on Friday for the Comets and next week for the Knights. We'll be back in a couple weeks with state playoff basketball for you. But until then, catch us on Twitter and on Facebook at MyTVWQMY or at Fox 56 on Twitter. So for the entire Fox 56 sports crew, for Mr. Doug Walsh, this is Bob Ide saying congratulations to the Scranton Knights, who are the Lackawanna League Division I champions.
You're watching Allied Services High School Hoops on MyTV WQMY. Sponsored by Hazleton Honda.